What better to do on a rainy September afternoon than go to the blacksmith forge? Hello, welcome to Burnett's Forge. Today we're going to be assembling a Smithin Magician number 3A. Before we get started, remember to subscribe, like, turn on the reminder, and share. Although the manufacturer recommends using an oxyacetylene torch to heat the nubs or the lugs to bend over to form the feet, I do not have an oxyacetylene torch, so I'll use the blacksmith forge and a coal fire to heat and bend them. After successfully bending the first of two on one side, we heat for the second bend. I then repeated the same process for the opposite side. After successfully bending the 4 lugs to form the feet, I took the entire kit back into my workshop so I would have access to my wire welder. Using one of the 2 face plates and the 2 3/4 inch square by 6 inch and one of the 3/4 inch by 2 inch by 7 inch pieces of cold drawn bar stock, along with the 2 8/1000ths of an inch shims, I began assembling the frame. After deburring the 8/1000ths of an inch shims, I placed them on either side of the cold roll stock and placed the 3/4 square stock on either side. Using the 3-inch welding clamp, I then clamped the 3 pieces of stock and the 2 8/1000ths of an inch brass shims in the center line of the jig. Using 2 additional welding clamps, I clamped the 3/4 inch bar stock securely to one side of the jig so that it could be tack welded. After verifying that the stock was indeed in the center of the jig, I tack welded first one end and then the other of the 2 3/4 by 3/4 inch pieces of stock. Using the face plate as a guide, I drilled through the square bar with the letter V as in Victor bit. I then prepared for final assembly by placing the shims and the face plate over the drilled holes. I inserted the 3/8 by 1 7/8 steel rivets through the holes. We are now ready to go to the forge and heat each of the rivets and set them. This specific kit comes with a base which can be drawn off or marked as you see in the image, and then holes can be pre-drilled and tapped to attach the jig to a base. In addition, one can also purchase a separate base with a 3/4, a 7/8, or a 1 inch square rod for your hardy hole. Although I do not have an oxyacetylene torch, I do have a small torch with MAP gas canisters. Initially, I started heating the rivets with one torch. I later found that using 2 torches at the same time heated the rivets sufficient to set the opposite side. After setting one rivet on each corner of the jig, I decided to call it a night. We'll start again in the morning. And as any of you can imagine, somehow, some way, somewhere, I lost one of the supplied rivets. So needless to say, as blacksmiths do, we will make a part when we need a part. So at least temporarily, I will be using a shoulder bolt, which I will heat and set as a rivet. Now that the jig is assembled and the rivets are set, I'll drill out the mounting holes to 11/32 inch. We'll now mount the assembly to a plate using lot washers and bolts. As noted, with this kit, a plate is provided which can be bored and tapped, or a plate can be purchased separately, which is bored, tapped, and has a hardy hole shank. Using a side grinder, I grind off the excess length of each of the 4 bolts.
You can see that the hardy hole in the anvil is not square and at a right angle to the face of the anvil. So we're going to grind the post to a slight angle so that it will slide into the hole. And with the slight angle ground, you can see that in one direction it will not fit, but in the other angle, in the other direction, it fits a little more closely. So we're going to bring it down just a little more to allow it to sit flush with the face of the anvil. You can see now that it sits flush with the faceplate of the anvil. We took just a bit off of the bottom right corner and a little off the left top corner. So it fits the hardy hole that's in at an angle. Assembled, bolted to the plate in the hardy hole, and sanded and ready to use. And yes, I did lose one of the rivets, and I had to temporarily replace it with a bolt. So if you happen to see one just laying around on my floor, please let me know. If I find it, I'll replace it. If I don't find it, it will be used like this for the rest of its natural life. Thanks for watching, guys.